Buttons. Hey everybody, welcome to our 2-hour Wednesday show. This is the Paranormal Portal, and I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you guys are doing great. Good to see you all. Yeah, I see the chat room's filling up, so lots of love, guys. Thank you so much for coming in. We've got an epic show for you tonight, as always, but, well, we hope it's epic. But I'm not alone here, folks. I have my good friend, co-host, and the big toe himself, Mr. Don Longbeard. How you doing, brother?
Who always misses his microphone.
Yeah, you know that thing you got to talk into?
It's been so long. I've been gone for so long. I've forgotten how
Rookie.
to do this.
What a rookie mistake.
What the hell?
Oh my God, Marge.
Jeez. Fire that guy.
Oh, no, it's fine. How you doing, though? Good?
Oh, doing good. Yeah. You know what? We were talking last week about, best parts of Phenomenon and going to Utah, remember?
Yeah.
I forgot one thing.
Okay.
You know what the really, really, really bestest part of going to Utah and Phenomenon was?
Spending time together?
7-Eleven.
Oh,
I haven't had 7-Eleven nachos in like 15 years.
I was going for the heartfelt moment, and
it was like a new
7-Eleven.
love.
Yeah, it was like you guys got to understand, Don about it was like Christmas morning. Once we pulled into Vernal, he's like, "Oh my God, it's 7-Eleven!" And we're in the slot. And he's over there, I swear to God, he's over there
It's
like
true.
Dr. Frankenstein at the nacho bin. He's making some kind of concoction. And I'm serious, the man made a pile of nachos.
Oh, it was awesome.
And just inhaled them. I mean,
it was awesome. As I'm driving down the road. Oh, yeah. Driving down the road was when we were on the way back.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was in heaven. So
that was awesome.
They're saying no video.
For so long. What?
I got video. Everybody seeing us? You guys seeing us?
Hello?
J-Rock is saying, Brent, I think it crashed. No video. Are you seeing us? Are you seeing? Hello, please. Us?
Huh?
I don't know.
Well, it was still funny.
I've got it over here. Kind of. Yeah. I mean, there's a delay, but yeah. I see you fine, Jake says. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's seeing us, so I don't know what's happening. Just try reloading. If you have problems, reload the page on YouTube. It should work. Let's get some thumbs up in this chat. You got it, Morgan Anonymous. Woo! Well played. I like that. Coming in, just rooting for the team. That's outstanding. So nothing wrong here. Good. Okay. Well, it must be on his connection, or her. I'm sorry.
Their connection.
Their connection. Thank you.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey Doc. Good to see you.
Doc.
Good to see you all. Doc Manhattan.
Oh yeah, Doc. Yeah.
Dr. Manhattan's here.
For some reason, I haven't been able to get into there yet because I haven't seen the posting for it yet.
Oh yeah, you gotta actually. It should be on the Facebook pages, and and so many more places. But that's good. Yeah, I know Don was real excited about the 7-Eleven
thing.
thing.
7-Eleven was awesome.
And
I loved it. Gosh.
I've heard tales of 7-Eleven ever since then, and it was a big moment.
Oh, it was just absolutely spectacular.
Yeah. Well, that was a good part. I can understand that. So when I lived in Minnesota, my tradition with well, there's a couple traditions. There's this fast food place called Randy's, and I'd get either the triple cheeseburger or the bacon double cheeseburger, and those were always awesome.
Right.
But when I lived in this Twin Cities area, well, my friend had taken me to this place called Broadway Pizza.
Oh.
And I don't know if they're still around or whatever, but my God, there was a pizza we would have, an Italian sausage with mushrooms and extra cheese. It was amazing. It was so good, and I miss it to this day. I haven't had it for years and years and years, but there's everybody has those things, and of course, Mom's home cook, and that's what helped make me the man I am today. So,
that everybody knows you.
Yeah, but anyway. Well, good. I'm glad you guys are seeing us good. Thank you for the feedback. It's scary when you see a message like that. It's like, so thank you for letting us know that you are seeing us. Great.
Wow, it just blows me away. Jake was born in 2011. Jake Fortes.
2011?
2011.
Jake, man. He's so mature for his age. He's
wow.
a very precocious child. Young man, I should say.
It just blows me away. Yeah.
Yeah. That's very cool. It's good to see you guys, all of you, and good to see you, Jake. Now, we have a lot on deck. Of course, we're going to get to the news here shortly. Before I do, just a quick... I better check this out because it might not be... That's not ready. I forgot this. I forgot this. I forgot the thing. There it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to talk to you about Cryptid Coin. They are the sponsor of the Paranormal Portal, and thank you so much to Cryptid Coin for doing that. If you're looking for a crypto investment and you want to check it out, by all means, please do, and go to cryptidcoin.io. It's a cryptocurrency that's right up our alley. So I think it's awesome, and they decided to step up and help promote and support the Paranormal Portal. So thank you. Special thanks to Cryptid Coin, and head over to cryptidcoin.io for more information. And we'll be getting back to the other stuff that we're gonna do.
The other stuff. Did you launch early tonight?
Just a couple minutes.
Prematurely?
I'm just gonna leave that lay there. Which one do I want? This one. I'm not gonna deal with that one at all. I'm not falling into that web. Scary stuff. This is a family show, of course. So, we put the F in family. All right, fantastic. We are going to get to the news in just a moment, but I hope you guys are ready because it's about to get spooky.
Isn't it already?
Let's get spooky. All right. That's enough of that, I think. All right. So I think we're all set here. We're ready to go to the news. You ready, Don, or you need a minute?
Hit it.
All right. All right. Here we go, folks. Off to the news. The news. It does. All right. Don, is news time. All right, you ready to dive into some of this?
Sure, yeah, head first.
I think I got some good articles pulled up.
Excellent.
I think.
Is there any F in family?
I don't know.
Articles?
I'm not sure. There's a bunch of goodness here, though.
Good, excellent.
Our news is brought to you by the letters OMG, and so we're going to get to the first one. It's coming from a site called unexplained-mysteries.com, and ladies and gentlemen, please check out this site. They do some phenomenal stuff, and just a great source for a whole lot of information. I mean, I've read things that haven't come out into the other news sources quite a bit ahead of time, and I think they do a phenomenal job. So head over to unexplained-mysteries.com, and they got a new book, that's weird news book that's coming out, and you can see that over on the margin here. So it's an extra publication. Are you drumming?
Yeah, that was me, sorry.
I was like, what is that noise? What's going on? So check it out. But the first article up tonight is Weird Voice Whispers Death is Irreversible During the Queen's Funeral. Ooh. This is from September 20th, 2022, and of course we know the funeral was just recently. An ITV news broadcast of the event was mysteriously interrupted by a whispered female voice. It was a day of mourning, not just in the UK, but worldwide, as people from all countries and all walks of life paid their respects to the late monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, after her 70 years on the throne. The funeral and processions were covered extensively on television, with multiple channels in the UK providing live coverage of the entire day's events, along with a dash of commentary. One live feed managed to generate a great deal of intrigue for a very different reason, however, thanks to a strange technical glitch that caused an unknown voice to interrupt the broadcast, and it happened on ITV, which had been showing the Queen's coffin being driven to its next destination along the crowd-lined streets of London. All of a sudden, a whispered female voice can be heard saying, "The death is irreversible," and the fact that she's trapped. Wow, that's creepy.
Yeah.
Before being cut off by a male presenter who was commenting on the footage. Viewers who had been watching the channel at the time were understandably surprised. Who did the voice belong to, and what exactly was she talking about? Many took to social media to express their surprise and to discuss what it might have happened. Theories range from a technical glitch to supernatural intervention, but the most likely explanation was that it was a voice of grief expert Julia Samuel, who had been speaking on the channel a few minutes earlier. Perhaps she had simply forgotten to take off her microphone. Whatever the case, the nature of the timing and error was certainly strange. You can check out the clip for yourself below.
That'd be crazy.
You think we should check it out? I mean,
Sure,
this is
yeah,
news, right?
yeah.
This is news, right?
Uh-huh.
Let's do some news.
Death is irreversible, and the fact that she's
As you can see,
Oh, jeez.
That was,
That's not good.
no.
That's like the bad timing awards.
as you can see here in London, it is a lovely day, and as the hearse heads out into West London,
I could just
Emily
see him,
Morgan.
you know, because she says, or something gets said, that gets said,
Yeah.
and then he leads into his, and then he stops, and it's probably, you know, I could just see him like, what the hell was that?
Right.
Oh, get back to the story, right?
Yeah, let's get on with it.
Yeah.
But let's listen to that one more time.
Yes.
that death is irreversible, and the fact that she's
As you can see,
Wow. Yeah, that's all kinds of creepy. And then it goes, and you can see.
as you can see here in London, it is a lovely day, and as the hearse heads out into West London,
Wow.
Emily Morgan.
That is creepy. That's a really bad timing.
Yeah.
That's really bad timing for that to happen. If it was just a hot mic, that was a bad
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
That was a bad place to have a hot mic laying around. Oh God. Well, there you go.
I know we watch our mics really closely,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
especially like on stage or something. Like,
Yeah.
make sure you turn that sucker off.
Or
will
during most of our breaks.
you? Yeah, most of our breaks, definitely.
Don, I got this rash. No.
Morty, I told you, leave it alone.
Oh my God, it bites. It biting. All right, I'll leave that alone because that's just weird and twisted. But yeah, that's very creepy. I imagine there'd be some kind of investigation because that's just horrible. So there you have it, folks. Watch your mics.
Watch your mics.
Yeah. I mean, we've had about every technical glitch I can think of on this show, but so far I don't think we've ever had hot mic issues. Have we?
We would certainly get told about it.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We get told. It's like, hey, did you realize you said that out loud?
Yeah. Oh, wait, I thought I was just thinking that. Oh, no. No, I mean, just kidding. We don't really talk that much smack here on the show. Even off camera, we're generally pretty decent people, but yeah, that's.
He said generally pretty decent.
Well, everybody's a dick sometimes, right? So
Well, that's true.
I don't disqualify myself from that statement. I know I can be a real pain in the tail, but anyway, try to be respectful. Try to be good. Let's get to the next article here from unexplained-mysteries.com.
I got a question for you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So the Brits, the the people in England have the face of the of the Queen on there, and they've got to change it now. They've got to change it to a 73-year-old man who's never had a job in his life.
Sure.
And but he's 73. They don't put the face of dead monarchs on their money. They put their face of the live monarchs on their money.
Oh, so they got a bunch of money need changing, huh?
Well, yeah, but how long is this guy gonna live?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, we got a 5-pounder that's got the face of Charles on it, but he kicked the bucket already.
I still have a 20-pound note from when I was over in UK in
Wow.
what was it, 2006 or 2007, somewhere in there, and I kept it for that reason. So I actually got a picture of the Queen. Just saying.
Of the Queen.
Of the Queen, it's probably worth about $100 now, because the UK pound is always worth way more than $1.
It is.
All right, let's get to the next story here from unexplained-mysteries.com. This is from the world of the bizarre. Doctors treat woman who swallowed 55 AA and AAA batteries. Why?
50?
55 of them.
What? That's not a case of pica. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a case of dumb. That's a whole case of batteries, too.
Yeah, it probably is a whole case now that you point that out.
The incident, which was evidently an act of
Doctor, every time I poop, I get shocked. I can't figure it out. I'm sorry.
Speaking of microphones.
Yeah, exactly.
The incident, which was evidently an act of self-harm, has been described by doctors as a world first that we know of. I don't think I don't think there's any first left in the world, honestly. But the patient, a 66-year-old woman from Ireland, had been admitted to St. Vincent's Hospital in Dublin after swallowing an unknown quantity of common household batteries.
Why?
I don't know.
Gosh.
That's so twisted. According to the case report published by the Irish Medical Journal, doctors carried out x-rays of her abdomen and determined that the batteries were intact and hadn't blocked her intestines. Initially, they attempted to wait out and see if the woman would pass the batteries naturally. but
That's a bit shocking.
every time I have gas, I get lightning.
Why does it light up every time?
Why do the lights flicker when I have gas? it's like you gotta fit her with a bass drum, and she walks around.
She's got her own light show.
Because the bunny, the bunny with that bass drum.
Yes,
it was really funny in my head, but they wanted to wait and see if the woman would pass the batteries naturally. But after a week of waiting and observation,
Wow.
only 5 had presented.
Wow.
It's not like they're like, surprise, I'm here. It's how did they present themselves? That was some creative writing right there. As she continued to be monitored over the next few weeks, it became increasingly clear that the batteries were not going to come out on their own, and she also had begun to experience abdominal pain as the result of her predicament. Yeah, I mean, those things are being digested, for God's sakes. Get them out of there.
No doubt.
When doctors ultimately took the decision to perform surgery, they discovered that her stomach had become stretched and distended due to the weight of the batteries.
No kidding.
Wow. Fortunately, however, they were able to remove all of them without further incident. The woman went on to make an uneventful recovery.
Uneventful. It wasn't very shocking.
Ooh. To the best of our knowledge, this case represents the highest reported number of batteries ingested at a single point in time.
The Guinness Book of World Record now? They are in Ireland or wherever.
The doctors wrote in the report. Yeah, it's probably like most of them is probably like one, and the culprit is probably like a toddler or something. Yeah. Oh, geez, Jimmy ate the battery. Come on, let's get him to the doctor.
But nowadays, though, you eat a battery and it could blow up in your gut. Thermal runaway is no joke.
That's true. But
oh no.
And
Maggie says, I wonder if they charged her for the procedure.
Just give her a discount for the batteries. We were going to charge her, but she ended up providing a lot of batteries for us to use her in the hospital. I don't know.
Oh God, yeah, if they were 9 volts, that sucked. Good point.
Yeah,
Jake.
yeah, God, yeah.
I've had a Pica patient before. She had like 50 paper clips, razor blades, and pins in her stomach, and she'll do it again every few months. Wow, Morgan Anonymous, that's really crazy. That's insane.
That is crazy.
That's
what
insane.
is Pica? What am I?
Pica, they just have this. They just eat weird stuff. I saw somewhere that a lady ate a king size mattress.
What?
She just pulled it apart and it was eating it. Like I was like, it's not exactly what I'd call a midnight snack, but to each their own, right?
Ooh, yeah.
But I mean, Jesus, they'll eat anything.
Wow.
But I don't know what it is. I don't know if anybody really does know what it is. It's like dysmorphia of some type, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's something's definitely disconnected there. But yeah, maybe it is something like that.
Well, thank God in this case it was disconnected.
Yeah. Don't eat the light.
Stop eating those.
Yeah.
Thermal runaway in the stomach would be horrible.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be.
Honestly, I got this burning sensation in my belly. It's not reflux.
No, I'm sure it would probably get right through your belly.
Got some antacids.
Yeah. Thumbs. Yeah, maybe. That's weird though. I didn't know that was a thing. But that's the sad part is that they actually have a chart of people eating these kind of things, and that's as far as we know, this is the most. Like they're all happy.
Lily Pond, just because your dog eats cat poop doesn't mean she's got pica. It's just cat roca. A little crunchy on the outside.
Oh, I could have done without that all night.
Oh yeah, Morgan Anonymous says, yeah, I feel bad for whoever's taking care of her is obviously doing a very bad job.
Yeah,
it's
no
definitely
doubt.
A mental illness, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, people don't normally find batteries an appetizer of choice, but anyway, I mean, she couldn't have chewed them, you know. I mean, just like swallowing them.
Wow, yeah, like you got a gallon of water, I got to swallow these.
I know, yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm like struggling on Tylenol, and this woman's eating double A's.
Yeah, no doubt.
Double A's like they're ho-hos. It's like, no. Okay. Well, the next article of fun is up for bat here on the show, and this also comes from unexplained-mysteries.com, and this is mysterious blobs of blue goo on the ocean floor stump scientists. So
blobs of blue goo?
Yeah, there's a blob right there. There's a photo of that. It looks like some kind of jellyfish, doesn't it? I mean, it's got like little zits all over it and stuff, or bumps. I don't know if they're zits, but it says the NOAA's Oceanos Explorer.
It's NOAA. It's pronounced Noah.
Okay, NOAA. NOAA's Oceanos Explorer vessel has discovered something strange, and nobody seems to know what it is. Over the last few years, the ship and its crew have filmed and photographed all manner of weird and wonderful things in the depths of the ocean, but this latest find is perhaps one of the strangest they found to date. Discovered using the vessel's remotely operated vehicle, ROV, thanks for the acronym, in the area of ocean surrounding the St. Croix, one of the U.S. Virgin Islands, these strange aquatic organisms appear as motionless blue blobs of goo on the ocean floor. The crew had been live streaming their exploration in the region as part of their voyage to the Ridge 2022 expedition when they spotted the blobs and quickly decided to zoom in for a closer look. It soon became apparent, however, that they hadn't seen anything quite like them before. While some of the scientists suggested that they might be some sort of soft coral or sponge, the team was ultimately unable to agree on an explanation. We're still not sure, and we all really like a good mystery, one of the team members could be heard saying. You can check out the footage of the find yourself below. Well, there you go. I guess we could look at it to see what these little blue goos look like.
Okay, we've now seen a number of these, and I think the mystery will remain until a sample can be collected or until
I think I'm going to mute that.
and some of these images, which are really
Wow.
high quality.
It's hard to know how big
some
they
coral
are, though. I mean,
and
what is?
see
Well, but when I
those
bet
could
if you
indeed
go
be
back,
some sort of coral.
they
So wait, I
zoom
was
into
just
it,
not-
so it's
I was not
Right,
listening
so
for
it's
just
literally very
These, and I
tiny
think
then,
the
isn't
mystery
it?
It's not
will,
very big,
will
yeah.
remain
Yeah.
until a sample can be collected or until someone, we can also send some of these images, which are really high
That
quality.
is really weird, though. I mean, it does
to
look like an
coral expert
organism. It
and-
doesn't look
and
like,
see
some
those
form
could
of
indeed be some
toxic
sort of
waste or
coral.
something. It looks like.
So wait, I
It's
was
an
just
organism
not-
made from
I was
toxic
not
waste.
listening.
Right,
For just
it's-
one tiny
oh, wait,
moment
it's a
of time.
Tide
Is
Pod.
it a soft coral or is it not a soft coral?
Sorry, that was
So it's
funny
a
as well.
possibility
No,
that it is.
nothing.
Okay. Excellent. I'm glad
No,
to hear it.
no joke.
I'm sorry, I was trying to listen to what they were saying. I didn't hear you.
I said, "Oh, look, it's a Tide Pod."
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry, babe. No.
Hey, Gen X.
Yeah,
Millennials.
yeah.
Calling all millennials.
Well,
You
it's,
want
it's
this place cleaned up? Call them.
oh, there's another group of them. Look at that one.
That stumps you.
So
And
you
often
left
it's
the-
more than
the
one thing per
lasers
dive that stumps you, but this
left
is a
edge
great
of
one
screen.
to try
Huh.
to figure out what the
That's very
whole
strange. Whatever the
thing-
hell it is, but again, how much of the oceans have we explored?
Oh, about 10%.
Yeah, like 10%. So we're going to find a lot more of this stuff, I'm sure. What is that? We don't know. Well, it's because you only know 10% of what's going on down there, if that. So, very cool. New life, new civilizations,
Boldly go where no man should ever be.
ever. All right. Well, here comes a report about some alien life.
Oh, there you go.
And it's a prediction of sorts, and I guess maybe it's possible. Maybe it's sooner, maybe it's later. Unexplainedmysteries.com tells us we can find alien life within 25 years, claims astrophysicist. And this is by T.K. Randall, September 18th, 2022. And it says the James Webb Space Telescope may not find evidence of alien life, but the next telescope probably will. Wouldn't that be something if we can just like point it at something and then see like these starships moving around like a planet?
Kind of like the moon.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. There's some strange footage of that too,
That's
right?
true.
Where those little looks like saucers going over the surface of the moon. Yeah. That are apparently from telescopes. It says Sasha Kwans, an astrophysicist at Switzerland Federal Technology Institute, Zurich, recently suggested that we could find evidence of life on other worlds within as little as 25 years.
Wow.
That's really kind of
I'll only
exciting.
be 77. Wow.
This time frame, he argues, is ambitious but not unrealistic. Well, I mean, if they have Elon Musk build it, it'll be like next week. But
Exactly.
if they have NASA build it, it'll take 15 years.
And they'll forget how to do it, and it'll take another 20 to figure it out.
And they'll go 50 billion over budget and all that cool stuff. But anyway.
And then we're in a serious recession, and
Yeah.
we're living like Player One.
Yep. Speaking during a press briefing earlier this month, Kwans maintains that the James Webb Space Telescope, which is the most powerful telescope ever launched into space, probably won't be able to directly image the types of small Earth-like worlds on which life is most likely to be found. That said, however, new instruments are currently being developed that will be able to fulfill this role. The mid-infrared ELT imager and spectrograph, for example, will eventually become part of the extremely large telescope ELT, which with an optical mirror measuring 130 feet across, will be the world's largest optical telescope once it is completed before the end of the decade. The primary goal of the instrument is to take the first picture of a terrestrial planet potentially similar to Earth around one of the very nearest stars, he said. But our long-term vision is to do that not only for a few stars, but for dozens of stars, and to investigate the atmospheres of dozens of terrestrial exoplanets. To really confirm the presence of life on other worlds, however, something even more specialized will likely be required, such as life.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, exactly. Large Interferometer for Exoplanets. They got a new acronym, Don.
Sweet.
Life. Mission, which is still in the planning stages and won't likely become reality for well over a decade. That is still well within Quant's 25-year time frame, however. We need to gain deeper understanding about plausible building blocks of life, the pathways, and the timescales of chemical reactions and external conditions to help us prioritize target stars and target planets, he said. We need to be able to verify to what extent the traces of life are true bioindicators, because there are other processes that could lead to the creation of the gases in these atmospheres.
Batteries.
Batteries.
Creation of gases.
Okay. All right, so there you go. Kind of exciting. Maybe within 25 years, they'll be taking pictures of other planets. That'll be fun. Maybe we'll find something cool. Maybe.
You know what'd be cool in 25 years?
What?
If we're still doing this.
Yeah, God. Paranormal Portal from the nursing home.
From the nursing home.
God, will you grab me my cushion?
Get them kids off my lawn.
Yeah.
Hey, where's my donut? I don't got my donut to sit on.
Yeah, I know. We have one of those big rings on every chair. Yeah. This is kind of a cool discovery. I saw this one.
My butt itch.
Jeez. Don, hand me my ointment.
I ain't putting that on you anymore.
Jesus. Okay, we got to stop that. Let's stop. Okay. La 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 la. I can't hear you. Next up is from unexplainedmysteries.com. Hoard of gold and silver coins found behind Egyptian temple.
Well,
that's a good place to keep them, I guess. This is also by T.K. Randall. September 18th, 2022. Egyptian archaeologists have announced the discovery of a significant amount of treasure in the city of Esna. According to a press release by Egypt's Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, work to excavate the site, which is located at the rear of a temple in Esna City on the banks of the Nile River, began last year. The hoard consists of gold and silver coins from various times throughout the Islamic era, a period of approximately 600 years, spanning from around 610 to 1258 AD.
wow.
Among these treasures found on the site were 286 silver coins bearing the names of various kings from throughout this period, as well as foreign currencies dating to the time of King Levan in Armenia.
That's funny. That's kind of like what we do. We go through and we like collect all these old coins,
Right.
With from different places, different times.
Sure, yep. Bronze and brass artifacts dating back to the Ottoman era were also unearthed. Dr. Mustafa Waziri, Secretary General of the Council for Archaeology, was keen to stress the importance of the discovery and indicated that there could be more still waiting to be found. Efforts to search for additional treasures at the site remain ongoing, and there's pictures of some of the coins that were discovered, and some of them just look like broken buttons, but I guess they're, metals. They're metals of some kind.
Wow. We have some. Thank you, Doc.
What happened?
Doc Manhattan says this show and its format is a winner. It could go on nighttime radio and go national, i.e. Art Bell.
Aw, thanks, man.
Oh, that's
awesome. Every once in a while we get that comparison, and it's extraordinarily humbling.
Yes, it is.
But again, Art Bell carved the road. He carved the road we're all walking now. Yep. So without him, none of this would be happening, or maybe would be quite a while yet. But thank you. That is incredible. That really means the world. So thank you so much, Doc. I appreciate that.
Yes, awesome. Yeah.
Very cool. So that's from there. Some old coins were found. But let's see what's next, shall we? This one's another from the Egyptian antiquities kind of thing.
Oh, gosh.
What? All right.
Zahi Hawass, that's what the thing is.
Zahi
Thank God
Hawass.
for Hawass.
Unexplainedmysteries.com brings us Zahi Hawass claims that he has found the tomb of Queen Nefertiti. And this is T.K. Randall, September 21st, 2022. And he says the famed Egyptologist maintains that he has solved the millennia-old mystery of Nefertiti's whereabouts. Famed for her beauty, Queen Nefertiti was a prominent figure in ancient Egypt's 18th dynasty and reigned for years alongside her husband, the pharaoh Akhenaten. Akhenaten, all right? Yep. Yeah, I did it.
Yay!
Little me party. It says when
Aren't you just so cute?
I believe me. I see words that are coming up, and I'm like, oh god, here we go. Oh god, don't stress. It'll be okay. I'm like doing some self-talk as I'm reading everything up to it, and then I'm like, bleh. And sometimes it actually works out. And this was one of those times. So when he died, some experts believe that she may have continued to rule for a time under the name of what the hell do I do with this? Nefertaraten.
You skip it.
Nefertaraten.
Highlight it and skip it.
Before the young Tutankhamun took over. Over the years, there have been many efforts to locate the tomb of Queen Nefertiti, but so far archaeologists have been unable to conclusively determine the whereabouts of her remains. Back in 2015, Nicholas Reeve indicated that there could be a hidden chamber behind the walls of Tutankhamun's tomb in which the mummy of Nefertiti might be found, which at the time led to a renewed interest in the search. Sadly, though, scans of the tomb seem to discount the presence of such a chamber. Now famed Egyptologist and former Minister of State for Antiquities Affairs, Zahi Hawass, has reignited the debate once again by claiming that he has in fact discovered the whereabouts of Queen Nefertiti and intends to reveal everything he knows in the autumn. His claim is believed to center around two unknown mummies found in the tomb KV-21. Oh, that's where it always is. KV-21. In the Valley of the Kings. Both are the remains of women, possibly a mother and daughter, who date back to the correct time period, but so far a conclusive identification has remained elusive. Hawass, however, now seems to believe that one of these mummies is indeed Queen Nefertiti. In October, we'll be able to announce the discovery of the mummy of Akhenaten, Tutankhamun's wife, and her mother Nefertiti, he told The Independent. If he is actually able to prove this beyond any shadow of a doubt, it will be quite the discovery indeed. We'll need to wait until October, however, to find exactly what he's learned. Well, he's always been in the news for something whenever he can be, right? Zahi Hawass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like the official mouthpiece of disinformation.
Well, apparently he's got a whole new mouthful. So
he's just trying to see. It's like Yuri Geller.
trying to remain relevant.
Yeah, he's just Yuri. Yeah, I mean,
give him a spoon.
he found the tomb of Osiris. You know this, right?
I didn't
In
know
the
that.
bottom of the pyramid. Anyhow,
Okay.
there was nothing there.
Oh.
There was a sarcophagus, but there was nothing in it. There was nothing adorning the walls. It was just
Oh, okay.
so anticlimactic. It like I mean, you know, no foreplay. It was just,
don't know.
it was horrible. It was like Geraldo opening, you know,
Al Capone's vault.
Yeah. Here's his underwear.
Yeah.
They smell like crime. I mean grime.
They smell like crime. I don't even know what that means, but that's disturbing as hell.
Yeah. JPPM says, did they have Geraldo open it? I think he should have.
Yeah, have Geraldo go over there and do that.
No.
I'm just telling you.
And then all of a sudden, some skinhead Nazi comes through with a chair and busts his nose.
Ooh,
I mean,
yeah.
Can he get both of them, please?
Oh, what the hell did I do? Oh, there we go.
Know. Did you push the wrong button again?
No, I just got windows moving all over the place. So, all right, here comes the next one, folks, and this is from unexplained-mysteries.com. I think this will be the last one for tonight. For the news, anyway. We got a lot more, of course, coming up for you here, but this is from unexplained-mysteries.com. TK Randall writes, September 17th, strange UFO-shaped structure shows up on a Norwegian lake.
Wow.
Look at that.
Wow.
Compliance.
I just watched that movie again.
I love that movie.
Oh, that was awesome.
I haven't seen it for years,
Compliance.
but
Yep, that was awesome.
yeah, very cool.
Oh,
An object resembling the flying saucer has appeared on a lake in Norway, but not everything is as it seems.
Looks like a silver legume.
Or a bean.
A bean.
Human being, maybe. Photographs of the large silvery oval-shaped object floating a big lentil, floating on the surface of Norway's Hardanger Fjord in Hardangsneset sparked a great deal of intrigue on social media earlier this month. Its resemblance to a UFO, in particular the chrome spaceship from the 80s movie Flight of the Navigator, prompted suggestions that it could be evidence
We are psychic.
of extraterrestrial visitors. Well, it does look like it though, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it does,
Before it goes all like when it's in its relaxed state, it
Yeah,
was more
when
oval.
yeah.
Then it gets more jagged when it gets serious. Yeah, that ship from that movie when it's going fast. As it turns out, however, this mysterious-looking object is in fact a unique art exhibit that has been designed to resemble the silvery scales of a fish.
Where's it at?
Norway?
Norway. So it's not Nessie.
No, it's not.
That sucks.
Known as the salmon eye, it weighs 1,256 tons and was designed by Danish studio Kvorning Design with funding from Sondre Eid, CEO of salmon farming firm Eid Fjordbruk. The installation is entirely free floating and reportedly contains 4 interior floors, featuring a cinema and several exhibition floors. Though exactly what is being exhibited inside remains a mystery for now.
Gotcha.
Salmon Eye will become an international design icon for Eidfjordbruk and revolutionize sustainable aquaculture in the future, said Kvorning Design CEO Arne Kvorning. It's good. I'm glad I didn't have to come up with a new pronunciation. Same word. I'm convinced that the floating aquaculture information center and art installation will be setting new standards for sustainable aquaculture in every aspect: design, interaction, research, technology, and immersive experiences. So there you go. You can go see a show and check out some art, I guess. I can't imagine what that cost. Did they say? They didn't say,
Yeah,
did
they did. Actually, they did.
No, it said
it
how
just
big
says
it
how
was.
big it was, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just, it turns, I don't know. It's a lot of money. Now, in like, if you lived in a watery place, I guess that'd be good. You could just float your house and live in it. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Yep.
More money than sense, I think, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But there you have it, folks. This has been a presentation of the Paranormal Portal News Network,
It doesn't get any more normal.
subsidiary of the Paranormal Portal. It never gets normal here.
Contact.
It's all paranormal. All right, folks, we're going to get back to the rest of the show. The most trusted news. Yeah, I didn't turn on your lower third. There it is. Now it's on. Boom. The pirate flag. The Jolly Roger's flying again. Okay, folks. So that was the news. Thank you so much for. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And
How could they not?
I don't know.
Gosh.
I don't know. You'd have to not be able to enjoy life.
They
I
have
think
no feels.
you gotta have lots of feels, in an appropriate way. Every time you play that intro, I expect solid gold dancers to come
No
out
kidding, yeah.
on stage. Yeah, and Arsenio Hall to tell some really bad jokes. But yeah, those were the days. God, you brought back a lot of memories there.
What the hell
What?
am I reading?
I'm not sure.
Why do bald earthists deny the existence of water mountains? The first comment says, I'm almost scared to ask, but what's a water mountain? Water mountains are what ships disappear behind in the sea. Bald earthists are too stupid to recognize them or acknowledge them, so they claim that it's evidence of a bald earth. Do you have any evidence of these water mountains? That's ridiculous. That's just...
Water mountains.
Yeah.
How do you get a water to make a mountain?
that's a
Unless
good
it's
question.
ice.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
that would
that's
be
about
called
it.
A glacier.
I don't know.
Ah, oh,
I don't know. Some people really believe in that. And that's
you know,
fine.
Yeah, but I mean, let's not make up, right?
And stuff.
Waves, yes, Morgan. Thank you.
Water mountain waves.
God, they're called tsunamis.
Yeah.
And there's tsunamis all the time, and boats just go right through them.
Just through them. Boom. Just no time for a tsunami. It only gets nasty, I guess, if you're on shore. That's when they become a real problem. I don't mean to make fun of that. That, of course, was a very tragic, several tragic events. But anyway, we got a lot more of the craziness that you've come to love here on the portal lined up and getting ready to dive into. I guess, first of all, we're going to go to our Discord where we have the question of the week. And actually, this question was spawned. I don't know if that's the right word. Spawned by our good friend, Mr. Android Purity.
Oh, okay.
And he came up with a question that Sheldon ended up using. So on the Discord, the question of the week, and ladies and gentlemen, just to give you a little background, we've started, well, of course, we have a Discord channel and a server or whatever, and great community of people. We just hit 110 people on there now. But lots of discussions, different topics, every area of the paranormal and 40 topics. So if you join the Discord server, that would be really cool. Let me see if I can get a link. Sheldon always whips them.
Oh, Sheldon, he's already got it there.
Oh,
It's
good job,
there.
Sheldon. Thank you.
Because I don't know how to get there. Because, like, hey, I'm actually there. Yay.
Cool. So
Accept invite. No.
the idea was that we're trying to integrate.
What's Buddha Bar?
That's Sheldon's. That's his gaming tag for forever. But we're trying to integrate the Discord with the live shows as well. So what we're doing is we're posting questions before the YouTube live shows that we hope you guys will stop in and comment on. Of course, you guys in the chat, you can comment as well in the live show, but it just gives us a chance to get a head start on these and a way to tie these things together. So the question, again, from Android Purity was... it says, what is the cryptid that you believe most likely exists and why, excluding Sasquatch? So Android was the first one to comment on this. And he said, I think for me, it's probably Dogman, a.k.a. Wolfman, a.k.a. werewolf, mainly because it's the other thing that has several reports and super credible Florida live video. Not just in the modern times, but also for at least several hundred years. The English reported a wolf-like man attacked the town. The Native Americans also have mythology of wolf-like spirits too. So it's not something that recently came about and something that has been reported in some form by different cultures that had no contact with each other, just like Sasquatch. However, I don't believe it's physically, that it is a physical cryptid that lives in forests all the time, like Sasquatch most likely it does. Man, I'm just tripping over my tongue here. There's not been enough physical evidence or enough sightings for me to lean towards a physical. He says, I also don't believe that it's a man that turned into that. I think that was reported by the English just because it had a lot of man-like features, so they drew the conclusion it must have been a man, because they could not comprehend a spirit or interdimensional being from another dimension directly interacting with them. Kind of like the Upside Down. Yeah. So yeah, Upright Canine Beatings is my top pick for those reasons. Well said. There is a great long history, and of course the cynocephaly, which were these fierce warriors that were apparently dog-headed people, as well as the Egyptian Anubis reference. Certainly there is merit to these descriptions coming from all around the world. So I think you're right. Cashew Gesundheit says Mothman due to a number of sightings and the ambiguity of what it actually is. And I know that Lon Strickler and along with the Singular Fortean Society have been doing a lot of research on Mothman reports, especially around the Chicago O'Hare area. There's been a lot of sightings and claims of Mothman-like beings there. And, that makes sense to me as well. There is a huge body of reports coming in about these winged humanoid beings. And maybe they're not all the same thing, because there is differences in descriptions of witnesses, sometimes profound differences. But they're all seeing something flying with wings and looks man-like or human-like. So, that's totally a good point too. Rachel says, I think Dogman is the cryptid most likely to exist, although it seems that it partly exists beyond the what we would normally call the earthly realm at times. Yeah. Yeah, there is some pretty curious reports, including, of course, the video that was shot by that young gentleman in Florida out his back door, where it looks like a ghostly, huge dog man running by that lamp. It's really a freaky video. And Fourth Color says, I'd also say Dogman, partly because I'm biased, as it's my favorite cryptid, but also because of all the firsthand accounts of people encountering werewolves across the country. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a pretty fair assessment and makes sense because, I mean, it should have a basis in reports, as far as cryptids. There's a lot of one-off cryptids. Like one time that cryptid appeared and then just suddenly disappeared.
Right.
And it may have a handful of reports in a region for a very short period of time. But Dogman continually comes up over and over, possibly, even rivaling reports of Bigfoot, as far as the number of proposed witnesses to this. So it does seem to be pretty good. Did anybody say anything in the chat about it?
Oh, I don't know. I've been looking at Discord.
Oh.
I've been trying to catch up on Discord.
All right. So did
Apparently
anybody?
I haven't been in there since May.
Did anybody come up with any ideas here in the chat?
Story. I'm so tired tonight. Strange creature that lives in my. Oh Jesus! It's Naysay.
Oh.
Hi Naysay.
Hi Naysay.
Puckwudgies, because it's too fun to say.
Puckwudgies, sure.
It's
That's
fun to say.
certainly another cryptid that has a lot of historical mention in several cultures in the Americas. Anyway.
Just because of the first thing, my Aussie husband. All right, so Maggie says Bunyip.
Bunyip.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Which is almost the Australian equivalent to a puckwudgie, isn't it?
It's something like that.
Is a bunyip the small one? I never can keep them straight. I'm sorry, and I sound like an idiot. Yeah, that's what I thought. So,
yes.
Yeah, the small humanoids like what Robin Moonshadow calls proto-pygmies.
Proto-pygmies, yeah.
I think there's good reason to believe that they could be around. People have oftentimes throughout history reported seeing these small creatures. A lot of people call them goblins or gnomes. And I'm sure that there may be a series of different creatures that are small. And, the orang pendek in Indonesia and the Homo floresiensis in Indonesia as well. Those may be one and the same, or they may be two very different small, diminutive type of creatures. But, yeah, I think those are great points, guys.
Oh, gosh. Naysay's talking to himself in the chat again.
Oh, Naysay. All right, so thank you guys for that. And again, please join the Discord. There's all kinds of articles and things posted. I post articles over there or videos as I run across them.
Where's that?
That's on the Discord.
Can I just bookmark this?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know enough about it either. Actually, we wouldn't have it if it wasn't for Sheldon, to be honest with you, because I had no idea how to do any of that.
Podcast
but he stepped up and made it happen. And it looks like, that's the last one. So if anybody else has any ideas they want to talk about, by all means. If you have an idea for a question of the week that you'd like to see asked, get on Discord and let Sheldon know. And we'll post it up for consideration. If there's something you're wondering about, we'll be happy to discuss it. So that's this new segment. I'm going to create the video intros and stuff for it. It's just been a lot of fun to integrate that part of the community, and perhaps we can tie in the Paranormal Portal fans page to that as well somehow on these questions.
What about banshees?
Banshees?
Yeah.
Those are. I don't know if those are a cryptid though. Those are more of a ghostly wraith-like thing.
Apparition.
Yeah.
Gnomes. D says gnomes.
Gnomes. Yeah.
There's no such things.
I know what you mean. Come on, give me something, Don. I'm just floating all kinds of logs tonight, I guess.
Yeah, they're certainly not floaters.
They're sinkers. No. All right. Wait. The buttons are just too close to Don. Note to self, rearrange studio.
Oh, which reminds me, I just moved my studio.
Oh, did you? Good.
Yeah,
okay.
I moved it. So I got a new desk. And
ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Very
a little
nice.
more comfy.
Good. You'll have to send me some shots of that.
Yeah.
Or have me over. I mean, that's always a possibility too. I'm just saying. You'd think we're in different states sometimes. All right, so that's going to do it for this segment, but thank you guys for that. I appreciate your input, and by all means, please get involved in the Discord and these conversations. You can also just answer as we're doing the shows as well.
There's also the possibility.
Anubis, maybe a name for a race of creature and not a single individual. Yeah, well, that's kind of what I figured. I mean, the jackal-headed god, it's very interesting. I got a cat named Anubis. That doesn't probably make a lot of sense because it's a cat, but I just thought, well, it's kind of a cool name. So anyway, let's get on with the rest of it. Are you guys all ready to be more thoroughly entertained than you already are? Well, if you are, then you probably need to find a new show, but no, we'll do our best.
Rachel says, seeing little people like nobody's business.
Ooh. I got to give you the wah-wahs on that one. That's like a dad joke. Oh, all right. Let's go. But Portal Mom probably loved it. She loves those things. Man. All right.
Has she ever seen Romeo and Juliet?
Oh, that's like a movie, isn't it?
Yeah. Romeo.
Yeah.
It was actually kind of funny.
Oh, was it? Cool. All right. Well, let's get on with the rest of the journey here.
Morgan Amos says, please, no more. No more.
No more. All right. Let's get on with the rest of the show here. We're going to go to an article that we've been covering for a while now. It's just for spooks.com, true paranormal stories. And what am I on? 5:15. Let me just see if I can accredit this to anybody. I like to give credit for these articles, and there isn't any. Never mind.
It's just aggregated.
Yeah, it's just an aggregated. A lot of these articles are
somewhat aggravated.
Aggravated, yeah. A lot of these articles are just pulled together from people's Reddit threads and stuff, and they're really cool because oftentimes you get this whole really cool cross section of people submitting what are allegedly their claims. They may just be fabricating stories too. So
True, yeah.
you gotta kind of take it with a grain of salt. Maybe these stories are absolutely legitimate, and maybe some of them aren't. It's anybody's guess for sure. Only the authors themselves know. But oftentimes they seem to fit in with hundreds of other stories that we've read and covered. So nobody's making any claims that are not normally making claims that are way off the map as far as what we understand in many of these phenomena. So. Yeah, I figure if they fit within the general reports that come in, they could very well or probably are perhaps legitimate. But the first one we're going to read is 5:15, which is 5 out of 15, I guess. And it says, after my father-in-law died, well, let me do this. We moved into their house. My father-in-law had been an old Navy man, provider, hard worker, and caretaker. Oh, thank you, Morgan. Appreciate it. Says hard worker and caretaker, the kind of guy who checked on weekly checked the oil and topped off the fluids in his wife's car. But he had a lot of drama and chaos with his wife and children, who all suffer from one thing or another: depression, bipolar, schizoaffective disorder, etc. So hospital visits, suicidal scares, trouble at school, arrests, etc. In the first few weeks we lived there, the front door repeatedly opened by itself, just popping open at random times. I had small kids going in and out, so I blamed them at first. Well, I inspected it for any reason. Why? Closing it, jiggling the handle, pushing it from outside, looking the weather stripping, barely closing it, etc. And I couldn't see any reason why it wouldn't stay closed. It would open sometimes 3 times a day, sometimes none with the people in the room or without, but dozens of times over 3 to 4 years. Oh, thank you, Naysay. Sorry. A lot of applauses. Thank you very much. Finally, one night, I had a really vivid dream. I was in the living room when the door opened and John walked in. He looked tired, worried, and confused. I said, "Hey, John, are you okay?" He didn't answer, but he looked at me and looked around, and I could tell he was, as usual, more worried about us than himself. I said, "It's okay, John. You're okay. I'll take care of them. We're going to be fine." He looked at me, gave me a worried half smile, but nodded, turned, nodded again, and went back out. I never fixed the door because it never happened again. So that's kind of cool. It's like he was there still stressing about his family and stuff. And that was by AD Deviant again.
AV Deviant again.
ADD.
AD Deviant.
Yeah. AD Deviant again.
Gotcha.
So I think that's a beautiful story. I think it's probably, even though this person experienced that as a dream, I think very much that many of us experience communication with the other side through our dreams. I think that that's very common, and it's probably the easiest way they can get through. So I did want to read that. Naysay had said, Happy Gregorian calendar equinox.
That's
Remember,
right, yeah.
the sun and earth are not bothered by our calendar systems, synchronized with the greater cycles. Very cool. I agree. And again, Morgan Anonymous said, thanks, Brent and Don. Keep up the good work, guys. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely.
That's wonderful. So that's a cool story, though. The next one up is a couple of years ago, I had a dream reliving one of my childhood experiences where I was playing with my cousin at the end of the dream when he was getting ready to go home. I said goodbye to him, and for some reason, it felt different that time. A couple of days later, he ended up passing away due to sudden death syndrome. Basically a heart attack, but he was 25, so it was very unusual. 3 years later to the day, every 2 to 3 weeks, I'm having very vivid dreams where I'm talking with him and having full conversations. My friend says it's my cousin reaching out to me, and while I don't believe that, I can't otherwise explain it rationally. Something I forgot to mention is he was born with the same month and year as me, just 8 days apart, so we've been close friends since we were young kids. That was by Dog Underwater. Wow. Again, dreams, very powerful. I fully believe that's how most of us communicate. 7 out of 15, number 7. I had a friend who was very sick at the hospital this past spring. Not COVID, but sepsis from an operation on his back. Ooh, that's brutal. I went to bed, and in that in-between stage when you're not awake and not quite asleep, I could sense him standing by the side of my bed. We said a few words to each other, and then he hugged me. When I woke the next morning, I found out that he'd passed not long after I'd gone to bed.
Wow.
Many people would say it was just a dream. Again, just a dream. But I know better in my heart. I felt that he was actually there, and I felt the hug. He was one of the most caring and inspiring people that I'd known. And it was just like him to say goodbye to the people who loved him. That was by Ultra Runner 42. Yeah, very powerful. I really wish, and I've said this many times, I really wish everybody that's lost someone special could have one of those dreams, at least one.
Right.
Just that moment where you can come together and just make that connection one more time. And it's also reaffirming, because I think most of our mourning process is just, first it's the emptiness, it's the separation, it's the distance that's now, unsurmountable. And then the other part is just worrying. Are they okay? Are they happy? Are they at peace? And then to have those moments where you can come together and see for yourself. I think those are so incredibly powerful. And I guess if I had one wish regarding grieving, it's that everybody could have this experience where because I had this and I've shared it many times, but it was one of the single most powerful things that happened in my life. Oh, geez, Naysay. Automatic applause. My ego loves this. I got the button all warmed up for you, buddy. Just keep them coming.
He'll just keep hitting your button.
Yeah, I'll just keep hitting that button. No, thank you, brother. I appreciate it a bunch. All right, next one is number 8. My mom's cousin woke up sobbing for no reason the time my grandpa, her uncle, passed away. She told her husband he died, and then 2 hours or so later, someone from the family called her and told her that he did pass away that very morning. That was when she told us the story about her sobbing at the time my papa passed away. Definitely weird, but also really sad and kind of endearing in a weird way. Yeah, very sure. That was by Fluffy Metal Kitten. I love these names. Some of these Reddit names are so creative. Number 9. My father's a complete skeptic and yet is also one of the most open-minded people I know. He's very hard-headed and stubborn, not prone to making things up for attention. Well, when I was maybe 8 or 9, my mother, brother, father, and myself were all watching TV in the living room. Out of nowhere, he started bawling. Dad tears are no joke, especially a dad who I'd see cry maybe 2 times in prior. I remember him saying, I just feel really, really sad all of a sudden. It's like someone passed through me. The next day, he found out that his best friend, Les, had passed the night before, a few minutes before he began crying. So bad that's snazzy names. Okay. Yeah, that's amazing. Number 10, my husband and I stayed at a super old hotel in Santa Fe, New Mexico. At the time, I did not really believe in paranormal things or ghosts, mainly because nothing had ever happened to me. The old room we were staying in had this decorative wooden chair that had a slanted seat. I took note of the slant because I wound up putting my computer bag in this chair and felt comfortable doing so. I'm super careful with my electronics, and the slanted seat made it so my bag slid all the way to the back into the chair so it couldn't fall. I also hung a nice new dress on the back of the chair. We went out sightseeing, and then when we came back, my dress was on the floor near the chair. I wondered if housekeeping had touched it, even though we had not the do not disturb on our door all day, and the room had not been serviced. Well, we ordered in some dinner and went to bed. My husband and I were laying in bed in the dark, almost falling asleep, when suddenly we hear a super loud slam. It was so loud we shot awake and turned on the light. There, on the other side of the room, a good 10 to 15 feet from the chair, was my computer bag. It was like someone had lifted it and threw it down. There's no way it just fell off the chair that far away, and the chair was slanted backwards towards the wall. It would be hard for anything to just fall off of it, especially forward and 15 feet away. And it was a slam to the ground. I was so terrified, but my husband just shrugged like, this place is haunted like a lot of places in Santa Fe. Guess the ghost doesn't like the stuff on its chair. I demanded we sleep with the light on. I didn't even have the courage to check if the computer was okay until the next day. The next morning, my husband asked the front desk if the hotel is known to be haunted, and the guy just laughed and said, "Oh, what did you see, the little girl?" That was by Lady Byrne victim.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Lady Byrne. Oh, thank you. Automatic applause. Do you do it again?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Naysay. All right, so number 11. My dad grew up on dairy farms with his parents, who worked for a guy who owned multiple farms. So they'd hop around to different farms and manage them, so to speak. Also, we live in Australia. Sorry. Anyway. Foster's. This is Australian for beer.
So there goes that 18,000 downloads.
Anyway, my dad was still in his late teens to early 20s. They lived in this house that eventually became known as the spooky house to him and his parents, and this is what they experienced while living there. The house was known to be very foreboding feeling to it, like something was always off and you couldn't put your finger on it. The floor was made out of old wood that had little notches in it, and Nan, Dad's mom, put little stoppers in them to fill the holes. A lot of the time, I would just wake up in the morning to find that all the stoppers were pushed up and from underneath the house.
Wow.
Dad said that these giant hippie beads hung in the doorways, so big and heavy that it would have to be a big gust of wind to move them. He lost count how many times he would get up early for work and such and find them swaying like someone walked through them. But when he checked the bedrooms, everyone was asleep. I remember Dad telling me that it slowly got worse over time, like the house didn't want them there or something. At one point, Nan contacted a psychic to see if they could make it better or calm it down. Well, the psychic wouldn't even get out of her car and come up to the driveway. Absolutely refused to come inside the house. Nan was left flabbergasted and asked what she could do. The psychic told her to move house, and drove off. Dad said not long after that, these things would start stalking the house.
Wow.
To this day, he has no idea what they were, and he doesn't really want to know. Nan would come out in the morning, find the grass was pressed down or trampled around the house, especially where the windows are. Her peg basket on the clothesline would be ripped to shreds and bits of it spread around. Dad said he would get diarrhea because she had to keep buying new ones. What? Dad said she would get, I don't know. She was crabby about. Anyway, it started to get more.
Sense, yeah.
It started to get more serious when Dad would be woken up by scratching at his window on the outside, and he was always too scared to look back at it because he knew whatever it was staring right back at him while scratching the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. They would check in the morning to find that the paint had been scratched off the house at around human height and grass flattened. At one point, while his dad was out working a few paddocks over, Nan came in and woke Dad up, and together they huddled in his bedroom, waiting for daylight as the thing stalked around the house on the outside. Speaking of, it stalked Dad once too. He was walking from the house to his dad a few paddocks over to help with the cows about 4 a.m.-ish. It was cold and there was frost on the grass. As Dad was walking, he could hear the crunch coming behind him. So he stopped and it stopped too. Dad was like, huh, started walking again, and so did it. Again, Dad stopped and it stopped. Now starting to get freaked out, Dad started to pick up the pace and he stopped again. Only this time it didn't stop, but started to come right at Dad. Dad bolted, ran over 2 paddocks and cleared the fences. It didn't stop until he reached his dad's side. Whenever his parents left for a couple of days, he had the place to himself, and Dad would host massive parties with his friends. They had the run of the house and could sleep wherever they all wanted, but all of them always ended up huddling up in one room where they went to sleep. One time it was just Dad and his cousin over. They played a game of pool and drank, and at one point, around midnight, both of them were sitting around and heavily drunk, I think. A dark figure appeared and said, "Go to bed."
Oh.
Dad said he was drunk and thought, why the hell not? And they went to bed. The next morning, they woke up to find the game of pool that was left unfinished put away, and his cousin asked who this person was that was standing over their beds watching them sleeping.
Oh.
But Dad didn't remember that part. Dad and his parents moved out, and someone else eventually moved in. Not long after that, the house was burned down. Dad didn't know what caused the fire, but he was sure happy about it. That was by Ease Peas 143.
Huh.
Yeah, that's a lot of activity, whatever that is. And I don't know, is that, that's not your run-of-the-mill ghost story for sure.
No, that's get the hell out.
Yeah, that's
like
like
the psychic said.
Right, like a portal story or something, where there's a lot of phenomena going on. Very creepy stuff. All right, next one up is number 12. How are we doing for time? I mean, we can do whatever time we want, but
We do what we want.
we do what we do. I should do this. Lily Pond for cannabis resolution. Thank you. And thank you. Naysay. He's hitting the 99-cent ones now. Well, thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I need the crunch berries. There you go. All right, so next, number 12. I was at my daughter's house, and she and her husband were given his deceased uncle's house in 1 year, and she and my granddaughters and I had gone to the store.
Mom. Mom.
Mom. Wow. Thank you all. Mom's just whipping it out.
Wow.
Thank you all so much. That's really cool. Mom, love you bunches. Keep it coming. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So let's see. So 1 year they were given this house, and she and my granddaughters and I had gone to the store. My son-in-law, James, who is 5'9" and stocky, and a friend of theirs who lives with them, Gary, 6 foot, thin build, both worked at the same shop delivering packages, but sometimes one would go off before the other. To set this up, there's actually an image. Wonder if I can open this to see what setting this up is.
Okay.
A nice chart. There you go. Floor plan, ladies and gentlemen. You can see the layout of the house. Kitchen, dining room, counter, me in circle. Bathroom, living room.
But it's like a cryptid. Me. She circled it red.
I think me is a Bigfoot. I'm not sure. That's usually where you find the red circles, folks. Here's the foyer and the bedroom. Okay. Now we have an idea of the layout. The house is older, and when you walk into the foyer, her room is off to the right. Straight ahead, and you walk into the kitchen, and off to the right is the living room with the bathroom off of that. She kept blackout drapes up in the living room, so it was dark. So we went back from the store. Daughter goes out back, kids run upstairs, and I'm in the kitchen by the counter unloading bags. And I'm facing the back door when I see a tall shadow move from the bathroom, and it goes straight to the TV entertainment system. I think to myself that Gary's home, because Gary would always come home and go straight to the TV entertainment system where he had a little bowl and, he would keep his keys and change in. Didn't even think twice about it. I get done and go to use the bathroom, and as I finish to leave, it crosses my mind I didn't see Gary in the living room. My daughter had come in from the back, and I asked her where Gary was, and she said that he was still at work. And I told her, no, I just saw him in the living room. She and I just passed it off, and I got to mulling over it when James came home first, and I asked James if his uncle was more like his build or taller and thinner. James tells me his uncle was tall and thin. We got to talking, and James told me that his uncle made his bedroom where theirs was now instead of an upstairs bedroom, as he got sicker and couldn't use the stairs. So if he went to the bathroom, he would just walk right through the doorway where my daughter and James had their TV entertainment system. Well, Gary got home a few hours later. I didn't get the heebie-jeebies, etc. At no time, though. I was seeing anything other than flesh and blood person. Okay. That was by Jaded.
So that's like people say, well, it sounds like they're walking right through the walls and blah 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 blah.
Right.
Well, maybe those walls have been moved. Maybe they've done updating to it, and they've moved walls, or they've put a room there, and that's why it sounds like they're going into this place or that place.
Right.
So
right.
It's it could be possibly just that something got changed.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh, so I guess we could do a roll call.
Do a roll call.
Yeah. Do you want to see who's here?
Oh,
we'll see who's here.
There's a lot of people.
Ruthie says, Brent, do a roll call.
All right.
Okay. We'll do a roll call.
I'm only going to say this name once. Cannabis and Megaphone Man.
Okay.
There you go. Ghost Magnet's here. Hi, Ghost Magnet. Hi. Jake Fortes, JPPM. Just Here and There 66, Lily Pond, Maggie M10, Portal Mom, Rachel Gets It Right, Ruger Ridge. Hi, Ruthie. Haven't seen you in a while. Pharmacy's here. Fourth Color, Thomas K. I know Mr. Sheldon's been in and out.
Sure.
Let's see. Somebody else just popped back in. There's Red Harvest.
Red
There's
Harvest,
a new name for me. So there you go. Oh, and Batman with 2 T's.
Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming in. No rawhide either. All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here. Of course, if there's many other people, I'm sure, just watching. But in any case, we're glad you guys are here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And if you're new, hit the subscribe so you can get notified whenever we go live.
And then turn yourself green. That'd be awesome.
Turn yourself green.
Yeah.
All right. That's always a possibility. So let's get back to this report or this stories. Number 13. It's only 15 long, so there's just two more left. Back when I lived in my very first apartment, I would hear what sounded like a little child calling for their parent. Now, at first, I thought it was genuinely some kid who was lost because the complex was big enough for a kid to wander off from their parents. Mm-hmm. But the voice seemed to always be right next to me. It wasn't until I moved out that I found out a little girl was killed by an abusive father in the 80s. Oh, that's such a heartbreaker. Oh, geez, those are terrible. Demand Particular wrote that. So number 14 is, it's just a normal night. I go to bed and I'm still a youngish kid and I end up having a dream. So it was my uncle who came to me in this dream, and his face was caved in and he had blood all over him.
Wow.
His arms and legs were broken and all this gory stuff. Anyway, I have this dream. It just goes anyway. I have this dream, and he says to me to take care of your mother. So this is my mom's older brother. Anyway, Mom comes and wakes me up in the middle of the night, or in the middle of this dream, and she's crying and upset. So I get out of bed to comfort her, and she tells me she got a call from the hospital saying that my uncle had died in a motorbike accident moments earlier.
Yeah.
Anyway, for about a week after that, Mom was quite upset, and maybe 10 or so days later, Mom tells me she's had a dream that my uncle visited her and apologized to her and then drifted away. Wow, is right. Anyway, I believe it's years later, and it's his death day. Mom lights a candle to celebrate and whatnot, and I saw my uncle sitting on the couch watching over my mom. I didn't know what I was seeing, but it just disappeared into thin air. It was almost like I had a sixth sense. That was by Mickey Mouse 789.
I see dead people.
Yeah, I mean, literally. And I think we all have that sense. I think it's in all of us. So I just think some people are just more naturally tuned into it. But I think we all have moments where we're open, just maybe briefly. Maybe it's like a biorhythm thing, like it's just the right time, the right day, the right mood, the right, diet, something, and everything just lines up and gives us the peak.
But then also you have the opposite, which is the wrong time, the wrong day, the wrong situation, the wrong...
Yeah, where you see things you don't want to see. It's like, oh no. Yeah, because you can't unsee things.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Number 15. This is the last one in this article. It says, when we first moved into our old house, our uncle gifted us 2 puppy Labrador retrievers.
I hear they taste good.
Oh, you sick bastard. I named one Charlie. My brother named the other Gordo. A few months later, they both got parvo.
Oh, yeah.
Charlie ended up dying from it while Gordo survived.
Yep.
More time passed, and I don't remember what we were celebrating, but I remember being the only one inside the house, and everyone else was in the backyard around my dad who was barbecuing. Well, I was sitting on the couch where you can see the glass sliding door from the kitchen, and I could see outside. The door was closed, and I got up to go to the bathroom, and I was right at the end of the hallway when I felt Gordo jump on the back of my legs. He pushed me so hard I remember I stumbled forward. I turned around to pet him, and there was nothing there. And the sliding door was still closed, and everyone was still outside. I was sitting on the toilet wondering what had just happened. To this day, I still tell myself it was Charlie, but I will never actually know.
Oh, that's really cool.
That is really cool. That was by Mysterious Cat 7399. Oh, Naysay.
Again?
Wow. Don't overdo it, brother. I mean, I appreciate the love. I really do. You guys are, I mean, it's just amazing, but please, I don't give till it hurts. Okay. I don't pretend to know anybody's financial situations, but I know that times are tough for everybody. So please, if you're able to do it, fantastic. Thank you so much. I love it dearly, but please, give responsibly. I can play the applause anytime. I can play the applause anytime. You don't, if you need applause, but just let me know. I'll push the button. But thank you very much. I appreciate all the generosity tonight. You guys are amazing. Thank you all. That's it for that article, though. We did it. We got through that one, Don.
Yay!
Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Especially the one about the house and the psychic saying, "Hell no,
No,
pieces." God.
that's a
Ain't
weird
coming
one.
in. Yeah.
It really makes you wonder because there's a lot of different phenomena being talked about
Well,
there.
yeah, because you're talking about just the different. Is this paranormal? Is it paranormal actually, or is it paranormal actually, or is it cryptid, or what's going on? Because if there's grass flattened down,
It looks like a physical thing, right?
insane. Yeah.
Well, and that's why I said portals because dogmen are reported around portals a lot. I mean, it comes up quite often. And so if there was a spiritual portal or some kind of natural portal there where spirits could pass or perhaps other things could pass through, then maybe you've got like a perfect storm situation where there's a lot of things going on. There's enough psychic energy that things are able to manifest really readily. And also, again, portals and dogmen are kind of going hand in hand. I remember Kerry Arnold told me once, he said that, I don't remember the tribe, but he was talking about First Nations. There's some First Nation culture that says that these dogmen are basically guardians of portals. and which also lines up with what you were saying about the Skinwalker Ranch, right?
Right, yeah. Back in like 92, 93, I think it was. Art Bell had a guy on. I can't remember his name. I wish I could. But I was listening to it, and is this thing working? Yeah, okay. I guess it's working.
Yep, you're on.
And he was talking about they were watching it with like night vision goggles or something. And they said that, and so there was somebody sitting next to the guy with the night vision said he didn't see anything, but the guy through the night vision said he saw this thing like this bright portal open up and a dog man come through. So we'll have to ask Tom Winterton next time we ask him about that.
Yeah. And in fact, guys, if you haven't heard our latest podcast,
That's a great segue, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. It was very natural. It was our interview with Thomas Winterton when we were down at Phenomicon. The whole cast of Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch were there.
Yeah.
And we were able to sit down with Thomas, and it is a marvelous interview. The guy was really cool, very, very nice, and very genuine and sincere. I think of the whole group, I didn't get a chance to meet all of them, but, I said hello to a few other ones and, did handshakes, but he was just so, willing to make the interview work so we could talk to him, and he went out of his way to do that. So just a really phenomenal guy. We had a great discussion. If you haven't heard it, It's live now on all the podcast platforms. So I'm talking about Spotify, Pandora, CastBox, Google Play, iTunes, iHeartRadio. Any of them, if you look for Paranormal Portal, you'll catch it. It's audio only. We do have a video from that as well, and we'll probably release that on our YouTube channel at some point. But, yeah, just really, really, really fun discussion. And he talks about some of the crazy, weird things that have happened and things you don't know about from the shows. And it was just a fun talk. Wasn't it, Don?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It really was. And he's a very complimentary guy. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, he was very complimentary to us, too. I'm glad you left that in the edit, too. That was like, yeah. He said we were pro. That was very nice.
Yeah, but no, it was just great to sit down with him. And he really went into that last question, didn't he, about, how has your life changed and,
Oh, yeah.
which way you're looking now,
Yeah, you really get a glimpse into the man himself. It wasn't him just spitting a bunch of PR for the show. He was talking about himself, his experience, his family, and he's obviously just a really phenomenal guy. He's the kind of guy that you'd probably, if you became his friend, you'd be friends for life. I mean, he just seems like that kind of guy.
Right.
Very cool person. So I was by far, for me personally, it was my favorite interview from being down there. But we had two other great interviews as well that'll be coming up.
And the best one's coming up next.
Yeah, that one was really cool. So that'll be coming up next Sunday on the release. But yeah, so and I see Morgan Anonymous is now on our Discord. So thank you, Morgan, for going over there and signing up. Appreciate it a bunch. All right, so let's go to our next thing. Let me close this. No, I did close that, didn't I? This is the next one. Okay, so what time is it though? Because we got I think I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to. What should we do? Should we do this one? I saw this. We haven't done a Brent Swanser article for a long time.
Wow, that website looks so much better.
Yeah, it really does. So if you're into all of this topic, of course we promote many sites on this show because I think a lot of these sites really do bust their tail to put this stuff out there. These fantastic articles, interviews, experiences, all of these things. And so, it's the very least that we can do is to say, hey guys, go check it out. And one of those sites, of course, is Phantoms and Monsters. Another is actually SasquatchChronicles.com. A lot of people know about the podcast.
He's okay.
Yeah, he's
As
okay.
I sit here in my Scully.
Yeah, in your Scully that he gave you. Yeah. So, but there's also pages like Mysterious Universe, which is a podcast in their own right, and a hell of a podcast as well. And they have several incredible authors working for them over there, and one of which is a friend that we've come to know through social media by the name of Brent Swanser. And he's just a phenomenally cool guy. He's got his own Facebook group out there if you want to get to meet the guy and interact with him. He's, just down to earth, really cool guy. But you can find him at
Dark League Paranormal.
Dark League Paranormal. Thank you. My dyslexia was kicking in. I was like, oh, what's the name? But yeah, Dark League Paranormal on Facebook. Get to know him. Just a phenomenal guy. But he just put this article out on September 17th, and I was like, oh, wow, this is pretty cool. So it kind of has to do with the cryptid angle of things or extraterrestrial. And you can be the judge, or maybe he'll say in the article, I haven't pre-read this, so we're going to be going through it together. But again, please check out Mysterious Universe, their podcast, of course. But there's so many incredible articles over there. It's just phenomenal. Just an amazing site. So anyway, let's get to it.
All right.
I know. I just like to give accolades because, I'm envious. I wish we had a good site ourselves, but that hasn't happened yet. All right, so bizarre encounters with shape-shifting reptilian humanoids. This is, from the 17th from Mr. Brent Swanser.
Katy Perry?
She did that E.T. song, didn't she? Yeah. All right. So let's get to the article. It says, a very weird and dark corner of the world of conspiracy theories revolves around the idea that there are reptilian humanoids amongst us, largely powered by the work of conspiracy theorist David Icke. The idea is that there are shape-shifting lizard men who can take human form and are actively trying to infiltrate and subvert human society to their own demented ends. As absurd as it sounds, many high-profile celebrities and politicians have been called out by these conspiraticists. I don't know how to say that word. Conspiracy people, I guess. As being alien shape-shifting lizard men, but it does not stop there. Sometimes there are these reports that have come in from normal people living normal lives who have also claimed to have come across these shape-changing denizens of the surreal. Who have also claimed to have come across these. I just reread it. Here is where we get into some cases of shape-shifting lizard people that are every bit as bizarre as they are unsettling and even downright frightening. One very weird case was covered in the book Strange Intruders by David Weatherly and supposedly happened in the 2000s. It concerns a witness only known as John, described as a retired computer engineer living a normal life in a peaceful suburb outside of Dayton, Ohio. The suburb was apparently full of working-class people in modest, mostly unremarkable homes, one of these cookie-cutter housing developments where everyone has a very similar house and yard to the point where it's hard to differentiate them. I know, I don't understand why people do that. Did you ever see those cookie-cutter houses where just rows of the same house? Not much ever happening there. People mostly just went through their content, mostly boring lives, so there was nothing that could have prepared John for the strangeness that was about to engulf his life. 5 doors down from John's house was a home that had been unoccupied for some time, although no one was quite sure why. The rumor was that the previous owners had totaled the interior of the place after being foreclosed on, ripping up the floors and walls, smashing up furniture. And this is why despite the remarkably low asking price, no one was willing to move in, because although it looked normal on the outside, it was supposed to be a disaster area within. The house had stood empty amongst the suburbia around it for as long as John had lived there. And then one day, a family of 5 just suddenly moved in. There had been no construction work or renovation work done as far as anyone could see. They were just suddenly moving in one day, so it was assumed they were going to fix it up themselves. Having this family move in out of nowhere like that into a house that no one had wanted fired up the rumor mill. And since the family seemed to keep them to themselves, there were some odd tales popping up. One of these was related to John by his neighbor, known for being an unrelenting and unrepentant gossip hound. The neighbor told him that he had gone to the new family to offer a business card for his plumbing business and had been met at the door by a dour-looking man who stood in such a way that he could not get a good look into the house. He nevertheless was able to get a slight peek and was surprised that there was no furniture to be seen, just some dirty mattresses on the floor. The owner of the house had a decidedly creepy demeanor, merely staring at the card in the neighbor's hand as if it were a giant spider before saying that they did not need any plumbing work to be done, and closing the door. The family was also often seen riding around in their rather worn-out, beaten-up, decrepit car that was barely roadworthy, and it was said that the vehicle was filled to the brim with trash, and their clothes were also raggedy and threadbare, sparking rumors that they were down on their luck and speculation as to how they could even afford the house. The family was barely ever seen, and when they were greeted by people in the neighborhood, they did not respond. John had his own strange run-in with the father of the family at the supermarket, where he saw him walking in the aisles with a cart piled high with nothing but meat. John, trying to be neighborly, humorously remarked that the man must be having a barbecue, after which the man turned to him and actually hissed,
Wow.
making a sound like the air being forced out of his teeth, before storming off to the checkout counter. Other miscellaneous weirdness followed the new family on the street as well. One neighbor claimed that the mother of the family had been seen chasing a cat in her yard, while another told of having seen the woman's hair come off like a wig, revealing a head bald and scaled like a snake's, briefly before she was able to quickly replace the wig. Indeed, John's own neighbor and his wife had become absolutely obsessed with the new neighbors, with the wife going on about how she believed they were reptilian creatures in disguise. At first, John thought this was absurd, until one day he was out walking his dog and came across the man seemingly catching him by surprise as he tried to quickly go from his trash-filled car to his house. Not only did John's dog go berserk, but he also noticed that the man seemed to be wearing a toupee and that there was skin beneath it almost resembling scales.
Wow.
John became fairly obsessed with the family himself, watching their house at all hours and researching about shape-shifting reptilians on the internet, which mostly took him to looky conspiracy sites, but he knew what he had seen. In the meantime, a neighborhood boy went to the residence to ask them if they needed their grass cut, and although the father refused, the boy was able to see that the whole family was sitting at a table eating raw meat and that their skin looked scaly. He also noted that the man's irises briefly became slits like those of a snake, before reverting to normal. The boy quickly made his way home. Ooh, creepy picture.
That's disturbing.
Yeah. The eccentric family supposedly lived in the house for a year and a half before they suddenly piling into their filthy, banged-up car and driving off without warning, never to be seen again. When the house was examined, it was allegedly found to be a total wreck, with garbage strewn about, fecal matter on the floor, discarded rotting meat scattered about drawing flies, and old mattresses with unidentifiable stains on them. It was allegedly completely disgusting, gag-inducing stuff, John would say of the family and their departure. The neighborhood was not the same while those people lived there. Everyone seemed uneasy, and a lot of people had seen things that they couldn't explain. If they were human, they certainly weren't normal people. I still have a hard time bringing myself to accept that they were reptiles, but I can't deny how weird it all was. I'm just glad they went away, whatever they were. Just as bizarre as another case from Lon Strickler's book, Phantoms and Monsters, Mysterious Encounters, and it supposedly occurred at an unspecified college in Oregon, which a witness by the name of Mason was attending. He apparently had been having a tough time with a classmate who was described as duplicitous and manipulative, and a hostile individual, and who Mason routinely avoided as much as possible. Mason finally stood up to this unpleasant classmate one day, calling him a cold-blooded bastard. The classmate then apparently flew into a rage and promised that Mason would pay for what he had said. From here, he would learn that cold-blooded was more on the nose than he could have ever possibly imagined.
Lost boy.
Yeah. After the encounter with the classmate, Mason began experiencing a series of unexplainable incidents. One day, when he was studying in his dorm room, he noticed a nebulous, shadowy figure materialize in the corner, after which it then evaporated to leave him sitting there, wondering what he had just seen. He would, after this, sometimes notice this figure lurking about, But although this was definitely strange, things would soon graduate to the terrifyingly bizarre, as a matter of fact. One night he says that he was in bed and woke up at around 2 a.m. to find clawed, scaly hands wrapped around his throat and a grotesque reptilian creature looming over him. As it was tightening its cold grip, it screeched and wailed, and Mason claims he fought back, bucking and kicking and trying to pry those horrible taloned hands off of him. He was finally able to push the monster off of him, and that was when he noticed that it was the classmate he had confronted. Only he was now part reptilian. This creature supposedly then attacked him again, but Mason was able to get a pocket knife from his desk and slashed it across the chest and arm, which caused it to shriek in pain and vanish like a ghost. Yeesh. There's a face only a mother could love.
Tie a pork chop to it.
Yeah. The next morning, the sleepless Mason was walking through the campus when he saw the classmate and noticed that he had a bandage on his arm, exactly where he had cut the lizard creature. Although of the chest he could not see. This classmate then approached him and warned him that things were not over between them before storming off. Fearing for his safety and possibly his life, he then went to the school administrator and filed a complaint, but they told him that it was best that he just avoid that individual, causing Mason to realize that they likely knew what he was and were afraid of him. He would experience night after night of waking up in a cold sweat, seeing a dark, fleeting figure in his room, and it got so terrifying that he had ended up moving off campus, and even then, he would often see that classmate following him or staring balefully at him. Strickler concludes the case by saying, he knows that he wasn't the only person to be affected in such a way by this evil person, but it was also pretty clear that nobody was brave enough to talk about it. Two students later suddenly died in the same dorm quarters in which Mason had been attacked, and no proper information was released about these deaths other than that they were apparently because of medical reasons. Mason ends his account by warning the readers that these shapeshifters are a scourge and that will continue to hector humanity. Scourge. Okay. He has apparently since learned of some better ways in which to protect against these entities and advises everyone reading this account to stay safe. You could have put some of those things in there. Like, just throw a couple bones out here just in case.
Yeah.
What was going on here? From Strickler's website, Phantoms and Monsters, there's another really weird report. This one from an unnamed California woman who claims that she was actually dating a reptilian shape-shifting humanoid.
Oh boy.
She says that she began dating this individual in 2014 and that he quickly made it apparent that he was in fact an alien reptilian, frightening her so much that she refers to him as an it rather than a he. She says he would grow in size and reach a height of 8 feet tall in his true reptilian form, and she says of its bizarre shape-shifting incidents, the physical characteristics of this person: true hazel eyes, brownish hair, extra slim with rib cages showing, abnormally large tongue, scars and birthmarks on random places of the body, more specifically a birthmark that appears to be a scar from some type of alien needle or injection device.
Wow. 3
triangular dots with a brown circle around it. Sometimes while shapeshifting, slits would appear in his eyes. Each shapeshift would only last approximately 1 to 5 seconds, and immediately I'd rub my eyes and look away thinking that I'm autistic or something, but I'm not. And that was just his way of tormenting me. Oof. Apparently he would just randomly do this, and although she was scared, she stayed with him for some reason she never really explains. In addition to her boyfriend shapeshifting, she claims that she had another strange experience while dating him as well, of which she says, besides him randomly shapeshifting, other weird things happened. As I was laying in his bed in his room, all of a sudden the entire room transformed into a spacecraft, and I witnessed him pilot it. I fell asleep shortly after and woke up in a panic. I should also note that when I first started dating him, he firmly denied believing in UFOs and said that a typical response that normal or perhaps uneducated person would say: deny, deny, deny. Then towards the end of the relationship, his views completely changed. And when I brought the subject up, as if he had forgotten that had told me months prior. Very weird and strange things have happened to me, including bizarre dreams of medical experimentation, aliens breaking into my room and interacting with hybrid alien offspring. Yikes. The woman claims she finally broke up with him when he began trying to persuade the religious woman that God did not exist and that humans do not have souls. The final straw was when they were in bed one night and she went to answer a knock at the door and found herself to be paralyzed by some power he had. She then started wondering if he was not an alien, but rather a demon, and if the two are one and the same. She ends her account by saying that she believes he was taking advantage of her for reproductive cells, which she thinks he took while she was sleeping for cloning or God knows what.
Huh.
This case is surreal and bizarre to the point that it is absurd, yet she seems to really believe it. Surely she must be delusional, but is she really? Who knows? Finally, we have a strange little account from Redditor 3wolves369, who claims that he used to be a truck driver and has seen a lot of weird things on the road, but nothing quite as weird as an experience he had with the east side of Houston, Texas, where at the time he was with his brother waiting for a loadout. One day they were in a McDonald's having a meal when they noticed an odd man sitting nearby, hunched over his burger and eating real slow, and he would turn out to be odder than they would have expected. The witness says of what happened, "There was this man sitting at another booth across from us. He's eating his burger really slow. He was wearing a black suit, white shirt, and sunglasses, and he was watching a fly buzz around his booth. I promise you that I seen through the corner of my eye a long, thin tongue shoot out and snag the fly right out of the air.
Wow.
And into his mouth. Without taking another bite of his burger, he started chewing faster than ever. He had a huge smile on his face. He got up and left right after that. He threw his fries away without eating any. The burger with only a few bites taken out and his entire drink in the trash. He had that huge satisfied smile all the way to his car. I still talk with my brother about that from time to time. If my brother wasn't there, he would have definitely thought I was crazy. Such reptilian reports are interesting in that they are not targeting well-known people, but giving us glimpses of this phenomena at a normal, mundane level. As it pertains to the everyday nobody, does this make it all more plausible? No, not really. But it definitely adds a strange new spin to the overall conspiracy that shape-shifting reptilians are amongst us, and most likely all science fiction nonsense, but these people really seem to believe this stuff and what they have seen. Whether there is anything to it at all or not, I leave it for you to decide. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Again, you've got to take a leap of faith with these stories because they're, a story somebody said of something somebody witnessed and, at some vague point in time. I don't know. Is it possible? I guess. I've often thought, like there certainly could be aliens living amongst us.
Sure.
Weren't you saying, Don, that the Chinese at one time had said there were aliens?
Yeah. The Chinese have always said that, the aliens live among them, and that's part of the reason why they don't let anybody in or out of their country. Because they don't want to, apparently they don't want this to get out. So,
right.
But yeah, they've been saying for many decades that, aliens live with them. So it's not, I wouldn't think it'd be a shock to them to hear something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange. I mean, if they're here, what are they doing?
Right.
Well, they must be here as well. They must be among us as well. I can't imagine they're just somehow just circling or hovering around us.
Right.
I mean, maybe they do that too, but if they were truly studying us, then the only way to do that is to interact with us. So I think it makes sense if, these beings are so super advanced, then yeah, I mean, you put on a skin suit, the Edgar suit, and you go walking around drinking sugar water.
It's like he was in an Edgar suit.
It's like he was in an Edgar suit. Yeah, you never know. But it wouldn't surprise me, I guess. But then again, again, when I started doing the show, I thought I had a pretty good handle on things.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you start digging, you realize, oh my God, there's so much going on. There's so much going on, Don.
Right? Yep.
That even the most fantastical, far-reaching, whimsical ideas suddenly become plausible. And you realize that, man, we really don't know much at all.
We're about a bunch of dummies.
Yeah, I know.
A bunch of dummies.
There's so much that we don't know and so many things people are experiencing. And I think it's absolutely phenomenal and bizarre and weird and cool. And that's the journey for sure. Just like that slapped ham video. Yeah, exactly. That was kind of a bizarre video. There's an Android in the Discord. It linked a slapped ham video. It was really pretty thought provoking.
Was that slapped ham or mind?
Slapped ham.
What's the other? What's that?
Nuke's Top 5 is another one. Or
no, there was. I haven't been in this in so long. I can't even remember. So never mind.
No, I mean there's several different channels out there. There's a lot of great channels that do clips and segments and stuff. And I don't buy into many of them. I think that most of them are just some creative editing and a bunch of hooey. But there's some gems in those, and it really makes me wonder. Like maybe they did catch something. And I guess you just got to be the judge, because the only one that knows is the person that did the video.
Right.
E-Bomb's World.
E-Bomb. Oh God.
I
haven't even looked at that in like forever.
Yeah, me either.
Gosh.
That's something I hadn't heard of for a long time. Wow. And Mindseed, Android.
Mindseed is the one I was trying to remember.
Okay. Yeah, Android had that. Yep.
I've been watching him for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, there's
he started out as a tech reviewer.
Oh, did he? Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I mean, there's a lot to discover and explore. So, whatever you believe, if you believe in the paranormal, you belong here.
That's right.
And certainly, if you find things like that, ladies and gentlemen, if you, as many of you are very, very much pursuing this to a great degree. I'm sure you're finding videos, you're reading articles and stuff. And if you find articles that you'd like to see covered on the show or like to see us discuss, then by all means, link them to me. Preferably through email is probably the best place, because then I can keep track of it. So yeah, I'd love to see what you guys are checking out, or if there's things. And I can't do all of them. I get several, but you guys are a big part of what we do here, and you're certainly a part of every show. So if there's some phenomena you'd like to see discussed, or some event that you'd like to see discussed, let us know. We'd love to talk about more than just whatever occurs to me. And likewise.
And nobody wants to hear what occurs to me.
We get to hear it anyway. So.
That's true.
You don't have a filter necessarily.
A what?
Yeah, exactly. So, Brent, be honest.
Just because this is pulled over my ears doesn't mean it's filtered. Susie
says, Brent, be honest, you don't believe in any of it, right? I get the feeling you poo-poo it all. No, actually, I believe in almost all of it. There's certain claims that I have a hard time with. I mean, I don't think because you like the paranormal, because you're enthusiastic about it, that you can suspend all logic, though.
Right.
I think you have to look at things as objectively as possible, because there has to be some kind of foundation that we're working with. And maybe it's just because maybe I'm not ready to acknowledge the much more esoteric, bigger picture stuff. I don't know. I mean, but I don't believe everything everybody tells me, but I believe that there's merit to it all.
Right.
I think I've been saying this a lot lately, because it's really something that I think is incredibly important. But oftentimes when it comes to the paranormal, we view it as if we are this separate entity viewing something else. But I think we forget to acknowledge the fact that we are a part of these experiences.
Right.
And therefore, some of these experiences may very well be projections from ourselves. That we are an integral part of every experience, because the only common denominator in all these experiences is us. So when you're seeing a spiritual thing, are you seeing a spirit, or are you seeing something that you're subconsciously projecting in the world around you? And I don't mean delusion. I mean that, like a tulpa or thought form,
Right.
maybe psychokinesis or telekinesis, things like that are often attributed to most poltergeist experiences, that they are projections of the people. I think that also is true of cryptid accounts in some cases. Also, it may not be a projection so much as it might be an awareness. Like, I believe that we're all incredibly capable of being extraordinarily psychic. I think we have all of those traits within us. But I think that for most of us, it's not turned on all the time.
Right.
But I think we do hit these alignments. We hit these alignments throughout our life. Maybe it's a day, maybe it's a minute, maybe it's a second, maybe it's hours, maybe it's a lifetime. But where things just line up perfectly, and suddenly it's us seeing into their world, not them coming into ours.
Right.
And I think that we don't give ourselves enough credit in this phenomena. We're looking at it as if we're just these, this incidental part of it. Like, I just happened to be there when this happened. Well, maybe it happened because you were there. Maybe you were an integral part of that whole experience. And then it's also empowering, because when you see things happen and you feel like it's happening to you, then you're disempowered.
Right.
But when it's happening with you, you're a part of the experience, and that is empowering. Because I think a lot of people dealing with paranormal stuff feel incredibly disempowered. They feel incredibly, for a man, emasculated. We feel like we have no control. But what if we had all the control? And so I think there's some merit to that. Believe what you want. I mean, it's never about, hey, this is what I say and this is what you should believe. But that's just things that are occurring to me, because this whole thing is a journey, and it's a journey of me trying to understand this phenomena.
Right.
So I don't pretend to have answers. I don't even pretend to have mostly even working theories, but I think it's fascinating. We're experiencing some aspect of reality that isn't supposed to exist. And so we have a lot to learn. But those are my 2 cents for whatever that's worth. I got a few of them, but we're kind of right to the end here, aren't we?
We're pretty much done. Yep.
Yeah, there's a few minutes left. We did start a few minutes early, but please continue to be a part of this process, folks. I invite you to be a part of the Discord. I invite you to email me, to reach out either via email or on the Facebook pages, things you're interested in that you'd like to see discovered and explored on the shows. That's fantastic. If you find articles that you're reading that you're like, oh, that's a good article, send it over. We can read it on the show and explore it together. I mean, this is a show for all of us. Great words, Brent. Oh, thank you, Maggie. We're all Neo. Yeah, I think we are. I mean, maybe that was more autobiographical than we know. Maybe that's why that movie was made. Not because I believe the creators were so,
In tune.
Yeah, in tune, but they got a message and they conveyed it. Maybe there's a lot to it. I don't necessarily think we're all hooked up to a big computer system, but I think that's, this is our place to learn.
This gives you the idea of downloads. What is it? The
Akashic Records.
Akashic Records.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't remember that, but a download from like the Akashic Records. It's kind of where that feels, correct. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. And if you're not familiar with that, ladies and gentlemen, the Akashic Records it's like the universal knowledge of all there is to know and all that will happen, and it's all recorded in this idea called the Akashic Records, and perhaps that's where inspiration comes when we tap into that.
Right.
We tap into that, the mind of God, so to speak. And so, yeah, I think that's great. But, you guys are a part of this journey too. So be a part of it and get involved, and just know that we love you. Don, you got anything to say in closing?
No, not really, other than check out Thomas Winterton, the podcast. It was pretty freaking awesome.
It really was. Good show.
And don't forget, there is a promo code still, Our Friends, on Teespring. So there you go.
Yeah, if you want some Portal gear, head over to our Teespring. The link is in the description of the video. it helps a bunch too. Thank you so much to all of you guys who continue to donate tonight. That's wonderful. It helps out a ton. And again, you know, it's not expected, but it sure is appreciated. So we'll be back on Friday, and we'll dive into it again, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on YouTube. Check it out. And again, if you're new, please get subscribed. I'd love to have you be a part of the family. You ring the bell so you get notified. But
Ring my bell. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's
I haven't
fine.
done that in a while.
No, it's been a long time. Yep. I missed it.
You mean you wish you missed it?
No, I wouldn't miss it for the world, Don.
Whatever.
All right, guys, that's it for us. So thank you so much for being here, being a part of our shows and part of the journey. I didn't see any call. Oh, there is a call. Hold on. There's a hold. Someone's on hold. It looks like. Hello, Mr. Nace. I almost missed you. Nace? Hello?
Hello, long time listener, first time caller. Today, September 21st, 2022, equinox, according to the Gregorian calendar.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Thank you for your generosity tonight. That was very nice.
Well, that's why I was calling. I was wondering if I can borrow $1.07.
Well, I won't see that until like next month sometime because YouTube hangs on to it until the next month. But when I get it, I'll send you $1.76 or whatever you said.
Well, just put it on my tab that I owe Donnie for all the late night chats.
Oh, jeez.
Nice. Very good. Very cool, brother. Anything to add to the show before we close it all up?
No, I just wanted to have the opportunity to hear your beautiful, wonderful, fantastic, awesome voice this wonderful day.
Wow.
And to hear Donnie chuckling in the background. And if possibly I could inconvenience Donnie, I would really like to see more skin during the live stream.
Here. There's my 5 head.
Yeah, he's pulled up his 5 head, ladies and gentlemen. That's awesome.
Thank you, brothers. Have a beautiful day.
All
I love
right,
you too. And thank you to the chat. Be well. Share the giggles. Toodles.
All right, brother. Good night. Take care.
All right. Well, there's Nace. Yay!
Ladies and gentlemen, Nace. So that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. But remember, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. We'll talk to you soon. Talk to you Friday night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Ooh.